want answers.
I want the truth.
And welcome, everybody. I'm so excited. Hello, hello. I'm so excited for what we have in store for you today on the podcast. Of course, it is I, your host, Georgina Grace. On the Realize podcast. I haven't even said that's not how I normally intro, but whatever. We're flowing with it. I'm super excited for who I have on the show today for you all. We have Jimmy and we have Kate from, oh my gosh, what's it called? Myoko.
Myoko Embodied.
Myoko Embodied?
Yeah.
I'm so excited to have you guys on. Jimmy, you are a 26/8 life path. Woo! And I was just giving you a little bit of a rundown on what that life path is, but this life path number, so this is because the two energies first, then this is a person who is a heart first person. You know, it's always the heart space is first, and that's what people feel when they meet you, when they interact with you. And it's like you might feel that if there's ever any kind of business opportunity or anything like this, it's like if I can get with them in person and they can feel my energy, then they'll know that I'm the real deal, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So it's like
that resonates very true.
Yeah. And so what's so beautiful about the 26/8, because the 8 this is like entrepreneurship. This is like I'm building an empire, baby, and like climbing that freaking ladder, but it's my ladder, my creation, my desire, et cetera, et cetera. What's so cool about the 26/8 is because it starts with that 2 energy. It's like the place that desire to build abundance comes from is a truly heart-centered space, so it's like organic for people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good to know about myself.
Yeah. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
And then we have the beautiful, epic, wild Kate. Kate, you're a 404 life path number, which is pretty wild because the 404, I mean, you really can't get any more 4 than that, like someone else could be a 13/4. You're specifically a 404. So this is like the groundedness. So in this beautiful dynamic, Jimmy is we can do this and we can do that and we can go here and we can go there. And Kate would play the role of the grounded one, the structure and like the planning and making sense of things and fitting things, like, like the Tetris, moving things into place. This 404 is, these people have such a natural, what am I trying to say? A natural mechanical aptitude, meaning they just seem to know the mechanics and how the mechanics of things work, whether it's the human body, whether it's like building a house, or do you know what I mean? And they're so dependable, so reliable, and like it's such a beautiful, it's a feminine energy, but it's the most practical of the feminine energy. So I find that these people are often they're very, very practical, hands-on people, but they tend to be really powerful healers in a very refined and specific way. It's not just, we're not just going to do some work together. It's like we're going to build towards something. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it, like, the two of you have such a epic combination together, because Jimmy will have all these crazy ideas and want to go all over the place and be like, there's so many possibilities in the world.
Very true.
And then Kate comes in with the stability and the groundedness and is like, okay, well, this is how we can actually build and get there. You know what I mean? So that's such an epic dynamic. And I'm so excited to have you both on. Thank you so, so much. This has been like, what, nearly a year in the making?
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, thanks for having
we,
us.
oh
Super
my,
excited.
super, super, super exciting to have you. We met at the first ever Living Free the first ever Living Free festival last year. We were right next to each other. We didn't really get to see each other because I was in a cave the entire time.
Super busy, yeah.
Yeah, but I just absolutely love what you're doing so much. And well, do you want to tell everybody what you're doing and what you've done? I'd love to know about the journey. I heard a little bit about it, snippets about it when we were at the festival, but I was honestly brain dead by the time we got to speak. But I would love to hear you share how it all started and came together and why the Japanese influence and because I was like, do they have much beef in Japan?
It's actually funny because like 90% of Japan's beef is Australian.
Yeah.
Like they have like none of their own. But long story, but we started in Japan, so we met each other over there. We both went there separately for snowboarding, found our way there, and we met each other 7 years ago now. There, and pretty much once we met and were in Japan, like neither of us wanted to leave. We just loved it there. And since then, like 7 years later, we actually found out we had a past life there together and everything, and like made it back to the exact plot of land that we like existed on back then in a past life too. So there's like so much
awesome.
weaving that goes in on like in with Japan for us.
I'm losing my mind over this.
Yeah, we both did like a QHHT hypnosis session fairly recently, within the last 6 months. And that what Kate was just saying about getting into that past life in the hypnosis, and we both kind of just discovered that there was this like exactly where we lived in Japan in when was it 1271
Whoa.
and it was like this amazing old time, and it just like I can't speak for my own hypnosis session, but like it was just like these amazing memories of this exact same area, but just way different, obviously, in that time. But yeah, anyway, that's gone off on a tangent a little bit with that, but yeah.
Oh my
How we make colors.
Yeah.
That's insanely incredible.
But basically, there was just like a huge resonance there for us. Like as soon as we met each other and were on that land, like our lives just took off in a different direction from what they were before. So
Oh my
like,
gosh.
so it's very
Sort of like I just want to, and we probably won't tonight, but I just want to, I'm so fascinated about like the journey that you each individually were on to get you to that place.
We can get into it.
Because like that's how rare is that? Like you hear people where maybe they've met, and there is a past life there, but to meet firstly, but then to meet at the land at the blowing my mind.
It was actually like we met kind of in this other little town that was nearby, and then like all of life's circumstances kind of drew us to this other area, which was Myoko, which is why we then named our brand and a lot of things after Myoko. So that's where and that's where the land was that we had our past life and current life for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was actually like we met in this other location that was super nearby in the mountains, and it kind of just all then drew back to this one area under life circumstances, and 2020 and coronavirus and all that kind of stuff also played a part in that as well, which was just like this amazing little hub for us at that time. So we were there during all of that time as well. So
wow. And can I ask, were you Japanese?
Yes, in the past. Yeah.
You were Japanese? You were what, sorry?
Farmers, like land in like literally just rice fields, like farming rice fields. Yeah, amazing stuff. And
it's so wild because that would make a lot of sense for a 404 life path.
Would it?
Yeah, fours are so grounded. They often will have their hands in the ground and be working the land and you know what I mean? And oh my gosh, it just blows my mind. God. That is so cool. And so you just met and you were like, who made the first move?
Good question, me.
Is that true?
Good question, me.
Good question. It was me.
But honestly, I think I literally remember the exact moment that like Kate walked around the corner and because we were in hospitality at the time. I was running a bar and Kate came over to work at the bar for the season.
The bar was called the Rabbit Hole.
The bar was called the Rabbit Hole, so another
and
little
it was the
aspect.
beginning of me waking up. So
Yeah.
it was like
Oh my gosh.
And this is like 2018, right? Roughly?
Yeah.
Roughly 2018. And the Rabbit Hole. And I remember Kate walking around the corner and I was just like, wow, I know that person. Or it was kind of like, I didn't like consciously think I know that person from a past life. That wasn't really in my field at that time. Although I did have that kind of awareness of like past lives exist, but I wasn't really that deep into it at that time.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I think we both like kind of locked onto each other very much. So we like, there was this like moment.
Feeling.
Moment of knowing and like resonance in the air.
Oh my gosh. Like magnetic.
Yeah.
Cool. Like just.
Yeah. And it was like all the circumstances before that we didn't even know were taking place to magnet to that exact scenario to then have the like last minute of magnet right there, which is pretty cool.
That's so cool. Do you feel like that's been a trend of your relationship, that things have just been magnetized to you? You just end up in the places and you just.
Yeah. 100%.
Everyone is always so shocked about where we end up and what we're doing next, and it just flows for us. Like it just presents itself, and we're like, "Yep, that's it." Like,
and we don't know. We don't know what's there. We're just like, see what happens, and then something happens, and it's as we mentioned, we're now living in Yamba in northern New South Wales, and we had never been here until just after we met at the Living Tree Festival, and we just stumbled in here afterwards, and here we are living here. Like a few weeks later, it just kind of, a lot of things like that tend to just fall into place very randomly and seemingly randomly, but not really randomly. Like
not at all.
Fine. And then we kind of figure out why afterwards. It's always in hindsight. We're like, oh, that's why we're there.
But listening to our numbers, like it makes so much sense. Like, yeah, Jimmy will have the ideas and like put it into my field, what's possible. And then I'm like, okay. And like, I just do the groundwork to get us there. So.
100%. Exactly the way you describe the numbers is.
Now, I'm like, yep, that's accurate.
Yeah.
It's so cool. And I love that you have, you could have just named it Myoko, but Myoko Embodied. And what this overwhelming feeling, energy that I get from you both is that you're both so embodied in yourselves, both individually, but then also as a unit. And that's why it just flows so well and things are just magnetized to you, and it just, it's just so freaking beautiful. And also, knowing your numbers and listening to you speak, you're both so freaking embodied in your numbers, and just like the fact that you both you let the guidance, you let these magnetizations, you let these little pulls or calls actually guide you, and not without worrying about, what's the end result or how's it going to happen. And I'm sure there's some of that in there, but it's not like it just feels like it's a constant exploration and discovery, and like we're just trying stuff, we're feeling it out, we're seeing how, and it's just life is one big playful game for you, whilst at the same time you're doing serious shit. And I just think
honestly,
it just feels like real mastery of like this is what it's about, people.
Yeah, this is how you do it.
Yes.
Good to hear from your perspectives. No, it's true. Like it feels, 100%. We're on days where we're like, what are we doing? Like we're like, we don't know what we're doing right now. What's the next step? Or we're kind of like, where are we? But then other days we're like, holy shit, look how far just like doing that one decision, 6 months ago changed everything, and look how far it's come since there. And I feel like we're constantly having those look back moments. Like we're always writing goals out, and Kate was just reading through goals like yesterday because we've got like just an A4 piece of paper with all the goals in a little file.
Like pink texter, we always
and we just write it like once a month. We'll do it at the start of the month for that month. And Kate was just reading some of them, which were like a year and a half ago. And
Oh,
it's like, whoa, we did all of those things and way more. Like all the things that were on there that were like our little things that we just wanted to achieve. And now, like looking back, it's like, wow, we've long surpassed. Like thinking that those were our goals then, it's like, whoa, we've long surpassed that and done way more. And now, like it's just so cool to have that kind of look back and yeah.
I
See
think that,
away.
sorry to speak over you there.
No, not at all.
I just get so excited. I'm like,
Yeah.
No, go.
I think what's so cool, I think that a lot of relationships could take many leaves out of your book because um, having like a united goal, you know, like you're both working towards something.
Yeah.
I think this is like, you may underestimate the actual power and difference that that makes inside of a relationship because when there's no like we're not working towards something, we're both like on the same team and we're working this way,
Yeah.
then that's when everything kind of stops and you start looking at each other and picking each other apart. And do you know what I mean? It's like you've somehow managed to just figure that out, which seems very organic. It feels like your union is definitely a union that has existed for freaking millennia. You know what I mean? And it's just like you come together and you know how each other flows and you know when to move a little this way when the other one needs a little more space and back and forth and like just having, I just love this. Like, oh my gosh, it's so valuable for people. Once a month, let's sit down and write down our goals. So simple.
Yeah.
So
Pretty tense.
powerful. Yeah, it's got to look pretty, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And so then, Miyoko, like, of all things, why beef fat?
So yeah, long story. Myoko. So in Japan, they don't have a like natural products market at all. Like everything's so heavy, like with chemicals and just like commercial. They really don't have a big market like we do here in Australia. And so when we did decide to like live there full time, we were missing like natural products and stuff. So we just I started making them and just learning how to do it and like picking, wild like plants from the mountains and just learning all these different things. And it just like organically grew and like other foreigners wanted our products and then we started like shipping all over Japan and like it grew like quite quickly that we were like just supplying these natural products and things just like washing detergent and toothpaste and like all these like basic things.
That we were making chemical-free versions of those
like
things at that time.
Yeah, and then one day we're just at our butcher and he gave us a bag of tallow and he's like, eat this with some soy sauce. And we're like, what the hell is this? Like, we've never seen it before.
This is like post being vegan though. This is in like 2021 or something.
Wait, you were vegan?
Yeah, so we were like...
I need to know about the veganism.
So we went into being vegan for like a few years. When we first met, probably that year we were like vegetarian and then we went like 2 years of being vegan or so. And we kind of came out the other end and we were like, we're not doing so healthy. What's going on here? And we started, this is 2020, 2021-ish as well. So everything's being upturned. Like we were aware of what was going on and we were aware that it was a little bit bullshit. And we were like, okay, a lot bullshit. And so we were just upturning everything. And so we had this time in, sorry to rail off your story, but same story. It was like we had all this time. We were just living in the mountains in Myoko, which is, by the way, just the most peaceful mountainous town ever. And we can tell, we'll park this for a little bit because there's a really cool story about what Mount Myoko is historically as well. But anyway, we're living in the mountains, just kind of researching everything and anything that's coming across us and just like going deep into like awakening deeply for both of us. And
what was it like to do that in basically isolation on a mountain in Japan? This sounds like a fairy tale.
Like very spiritual, very spiritual.
Yeah.
It started off like very scary. We originally thought we were like trapped in Japan, but it was like the biggest blessing ever. Like we had a flight booked out in April 20th of 2020, after the winter season, which we were going to go back home. And we obviously couldn't get that flight. Flights were all kind of started cutting off at mid-March. And so we didn't take that flight back. And so it was like, okay, looks like we're living here. And at that time, we were like, we immediately knew everything was bullshit. And we were like pretty convinced that that was the end of like commercial flight ever. So we were like, okay, we're not going to be able to get home. We're like, better start creating a life for ourselves here, because we didn't think we'd be able to see our families and get home or anything ever. And so, yeah, we started creating a life for ourselves and started doing all of what Kate said, which was making all those products and kind of just started selling them at local markets and around Japan. And that helped us learn Japanese. And
I think like where you're going is like when you like going through that process, like there's so many layers of deception as well. And there's so many things you just have to fall into to work out. And for us, that was like diet, like eat what we were eating, and our health was a big thing. And we we're just trying everything, I guess. And we went vegan for a while, but
we thought that was the healthiest way, honestly.
Yeah. Healthy for us.
Yeah. And it was at that time, I think it's a lot easier to see through it now, but maybe that's because we're out the other end. But at that time, it was like really being pushed in the like awake community as well. It was like everyone was pushing veganism, and everyone was vegan for a little while back in, 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
And then thankfully it didn't last long for us, because we kind of realized probably on the 2-year mark that we just weren't healthy at all. And so we're like, okay, what are other people doing? We were like doing everything. We were cooking all our own meals, all organic, spending like tons of money on supplements every month.
Crazy how many supplements you like, because I did too. I went vegan for a while.
Yeah.
And I remember just being on so many freaking supplements.
Right? It's like, if we have to do this,
there's
something wrong here.
Yeah, but it's like it was so in the conditioning that you just didn't question it.
It was normal, right? Because everyone else is doing it, and it was advertised to you. But even then, it's like, I mean, the supplements after that, it's like even that rabbit hole is like,
my God,
washed pharmaceuticals, basically.
Yes.
But anyway, that's a whole other story. So we got to this point where like, we're not healthy and we have to change something. And we started looking at like ex-vegans. We started like looking at the hashtag ex-vegan on Instagram and all this kind of stuff.
Is that a thing?
It was. Yeah. I don't think it is anymore. It was at that time. I think it's been like barred now.
Wow.
But it
just
was
hearing other people's stories,
and everyone was having the same problems, and like then it was like this massive cognitive dissonance, because we were like, wow, we thought we were doing the right thing. We were doing the right thing, and I couldn't do a push-up. I'd lost all my muscle completely. We're just so loss of energy. And then Kate's like, maybe we should go eat some eggs or salmon. I was like, oh, maybe we should go eat a burger.
I started eating
salmon. Yeah, you started eating eggs and salmon. I was like, nah, no way. And then a few weeks later, we were like, let's try and eat a burger and see what happens. And we went to
straight in the deep end.
Went to like, not a burger, like a shitty burger, but like a decent restaurant burger nearby. And we went there, ate it, and we were like, oh my God, this is what we've been missing.
It's so wild. Like when I first heard of this carnivore thing, it was, the cognitive dissonance of like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
But like my entire childhood was at like vegetables and the pyramid and, and I remember thinking, because I love potatoes. Oh my gosh, potato.
Same.
So versatile, and every possible way that potatoes can come, I'm obsessed with.
Yeah, same.
And I'm like, I'm going to miss them. How am I not going to have them? And when I first transitioned, I love saying that. When I first transitioned, I did like 3 months of animal based. So I was just eating like fruits and the vegetables that have seeds. So like zucchini, pumpkin,
tomatoes, all those kind of things.
Yeah. I was refraining from tomatoes because they were, what are they? They're nightshades. Yeah. So I was like, didn't do any of the nightshades, but I just cut out the seed oils, carbs, anything processed, and then it was just fruit and those vegetables, and then just meat straight up, like beef patties from beef mince on the barbecue, salt. That was it. And when I started eating this way, the thing that shocked me the most was that my my body was like, more, like, give me more. And I didn't
We
miss
felt
it.
that way too.
Yeah, it was like my body was craving the nutrient, and it just like that. I was allergic to dairy for like 10 years.
Wow.
After 1 week of being animal based, I was eating all the cheese I wanted.
Wow. Massive change.
Just,
Interesting,
it's
isn't it?
wild, wild. So,
Something like 99% of your brain is made of cholesterol and like things that you need to
yes,
get from like butter and all these kind of things. So it's like,
yes,
well, if we're lacking these things that are necessary for our brain to regenerate itself and to really build itself and to create cells, then
yeah,
like we're lacking those things. It's just it's going into
yeah,
atrophy. Is that the word? Yeah, atrophy. It's like it's just shrinking and not getting its nutrients to regenerate, and it's becoming. If you think what stagnation causes, that's
oh
just
my gosh.
yeah.
Yeah. And when I think back to when I was very vegetable, vegan, even when I wasn't vegan, just heavy on the vegetables, that I can almost like feel the lack of cholesterol in my brain.
Yeah,
Like, do you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like, oh, the fog and the dryness in your brain and the slow,
yeah. And
I
there's
don't even
like a
know how to,
heaviness feeling in there or something. Yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
yeah. Like I can imagine my brain going grey and shriveling up.
Yeah,
But like to actually feel that,
yeah,
that's wild. So then you started eating all the meat
yeah.
and
Started
then
eating it again. Started going to the. We were like, okay, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it all organic and proper
proper
meat.
meat.
So,
Yeah, yeah,
uh, so we started going to the butcher, obviously, and then so yeah, this is at this time where we're kind of like relearning all of this and started eating more butter and started eating and cooking with ghee and stuff, and like tallow had like just come onto the spectrum a little bit.
yeah.
And here comes the butcher and gives us this bag of tallow, and it was like, here's this blessing, like
Oh my
it was like
gosh.
this real kind of synchronistic moment where like we didn't know it was synchronistic at the time, but now we've based a whole business on it, and it's like thinking back, it's like, wow, that was just this gift. Like he just gave us, it was literally a gift. He didn't charge us for it.
Yeah.
It's like, eat this, try this, and
Isn't that amazing?
turned into a big
And we
thing.
had no idea what it was when he gave it to us because he was speaking in Japanese, so he didn't say beef fat.
Just
Like,
said gyushi,
yeah, he
which
called
is
it-
tallow in Japanese, and
Yeah.
we didn't know that at the
So we
time.
got a friend to like tell us what it was, and we're like, oh, and then we started like looking into it from that and like researching, well, what is tallow even like? And then we discovered like it's skincare. It's like been used as medicine. It's like it's got such a rich culture and like history to it.
For thousands of years has been used in all ancient cultures, and
Yeah.
So
Like,
versatile.
it's so versatile. Like it's just been used forever besides the last 50 years. That's
Mm.
the only time.
yeah, when we were just bombarded with marketing about chemical products instead.
We had to start using margarine instead of butter.
Oh, yeah, horrible. Horrible.
Crazy. So wild to even say that and go, what the heck were we thinking?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Wow. And so I'm assuming you started experimenting with beef fat and
Yeah.
what was that like when you started?
We started cooking with it first. I think we started cooking with it
So
first.
did you make it first or did it come as
Like cubes
He cut it
of
up.
fat?
of like fat, yeah, or
Yeah.
tallow, yeah.
yeah,
He cut it up into cubes.
We cooked with it, and then I started boiling it down, like rendering it into skincare, and we added it to our range already. And we're just like, whatever, we'll just see how it goes. Like,
But this wasn't
we
Myoko
really
Embodied
liked
at
it.
the time. This was another brand
Another
that
brand.
we had just like a little. It was kind of like a hobby, but it was also generating money, which was good at the
Yeah.
time. And we were just selling at markets, but
But this product with the tallow ended up being like our most popular product without us really even pushing it that much. We're like just seeing how it went, and like people were coming back with like eczema healed and like all these like ailments. People were just coming back to us saying like, this is amazing. Like it's just so powerful. So we're like, okay, we just knew that this was the product we wanted to focus on from then on. And then the tallow skincare range
yeah.
started.
And that was still in Japan then. But then, yeah, everything coming back to Australia, etc.
Yeah.
How cool. It
We only
definitely
actually, sorry, I was just going to say we only actually decided to like when we came back to Australia, we only actually decided to like name it Myoko Embodied after leaving Myoko and really thinking, oh, there's this huge like energy and there's such a story for us there in Myoko and that's what sparked it all. That's what created all of this. So let's just name it after what created it all. So that's actually later on that we named it all Myoko Embodied and then launched this business.
Oh my gosh. How epic is this? It really does, like, I just love being proven right. You know, because at the beginning I'm like, you guys just magnetize everything to you. And this man, this freaking Japanese butcher just giving this to you. And then you knowing intuitively what to do with it, you know, of course, hey, because you're this incredible 404 energy and you actually have so much high level angelic frequency in your numbers. And so like the psychic energy, the medium energy. So it's like when you have a 404 life path that knows the human body, it knows, you know, you just go out into the garden, you're like, oh yes, this is going to be dealing with this. And, you know, making these like you're like the alchemist, you know what I mean? But it's so guided by, I don't know, just this.
There's like an intuition. Kate's got it very strong. And that was like, Kate was literally the one that was just like, nah, this is the product now. This is what the business is going to be focused around. Like, but Kate's like knew as soon as it was like there and ready and we had it in front of us and we had a whole range and then it was like, nah, that's all dropping off now. This is what we're doing.
Even like the whole, like our range now, like it's obviously the elements and stuff that you saw. I just felt like the whole time I was creating it, I was so driven and I knew.
In the zone.
And then I got out of that bubble and I was like, oh, second guessing myself. Like, is this good? But like at the time it was just like flowing through to me. I knew everything we had to do. Like, just bringing in all the metaphysical to it as well and like really making a next level product and stepping away from like the Pisces and going into the Aquarius age with all that like coming into one and accepting the frequency and energy that runs our lives and like bringing that into a product. So it was definitely like very channeled at that time of creating it all, which is, it's cool to look back on and just know how driven I was back then, like making it all. So.
And it's interesting because like you mentioned about those periods in life where things like slot into place. It's like, as Kate was just describing about this just like channeled time, it was literally just this, it was like the perfect time for that because we'd just come back from Japan. We had this like 6 months where we didn't know what we were doing. We hadn't lived in Australia for years and we were like living with Kate's parents for a little while because we hadn't lived in it. We had nowhere to stay in Australia.
Yeah.
And we just had this time on our hands and it was like, okay, we knew we wanted, like, this is going to be this product and all of it just came out at once. We were just like doing all these things and this 6 months of like period of not much going on for us to release all that energy and to be the products. And as you mentioned, the elements, for anyone who's not aware, it's like all of the products that you can kind of see them behind us, but they're all designed around each element. So air, water, it's going backwards in my fingers, but it's obviously air, water, fire, and earth.
Yeah.
Designed around their element, and then the product kind of embodies that element, and that's all drawn from Myoko as well. So, yeah.
I'm just so obsessed with everything about this. There's I studied a little bit of Ayurvedic postpartum care. It's like very specialized. And one of the things that really stood out to me when I was learning this is that they believe that everything that they do in Ayurveda is the way that they prepare the food, especially for a mum that's just given birth, is all very slow. Like the process is so slow. You know, like making my own ghees and stuff, that's hours. And I make this concoction called panchakola ghee, which is essentially translates to 5-spice ghee, and it helps turn on the digestive fires. But it takes 12, like it can take up to 12 hours just to render it all down and then to filter it and, you know, infusing the herbs into the ghee, and it's such a long, beautiful process. And the reason why they do that is because they believe that the consciousness that you put into the preparation of the food also gets consumed by the mother.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. And I just, in how you describe the process for you, Kate, when you were like just getting in and you were fully channeling and embodying this thing, it was like these products are not just, um, just so freaking beautiful and natural and all of those incredible things, but it's like they're alive at the same time because it's like you're giving them life as you are, actually preparing them. Do you still prepare them all yourselves?
Yeah, so we do have a team of 4, but yeah, mostly me, and then we have an employee that helps me with production as well. But yeah, and we're so conscious of everything you just said and like putting in that intention, the specific intention for each element as well.
Tell me all about this. Where's my freaking popcorn? I'm here, like, I want to know.
Described goes into each of the products. Everything you described about making your ghee and the long process and putting the intention in the whole time goes into each of the products.
Yeah.
So like each of the element has its own, affirmation that kind of goes with each element that's designed around that element. So as an example, the ocean cream is I am calm, relaxed, and abundant. So it's kind of like the ocean, right?
Oh.
And that we, while making it, infuse everything with those affirmations at the same time.
Yeah, and so then it's got like magnesium in it, which is good for relaxing and feeling calm and letting everything flow. And then there's lavender as well. And so it's all based around what the water element represents in so many different things as well. So it correlates to everything, like the seasons, the feminine cycle, the moon cycle, the time of day, numerology. Like it just slots into everything so perfectly.
My gosh, I'm so obsessed. I love this so freaking much. Like I am just because that's the real difference there because there's so many people out there making tallow things now. Like I really feel you guys were very much in the front runners of this and then it's just gone. Which is great. It's great.
Yeah.
More people using really the first time I ever put tallow on my body, I remember putting it on and it felt almost ceremonious because there was a real connection to where this had actually come from. Like there was a real life being on the planet that lived and breathed and lived a life and then died. And then this is the gift of their life, and it just that gift of their life keeps on giving longer after they. And so that was just like this ceremonious type experience of just applying this. And I don't get that from any other lotions or creams or, it's like dead energy that I'm putting on my body, the largest freaking organ of my freaking body, and yeah, but I feel I got like a little sample of I can't remember which one. I think it was the ocean. There's I think, yeah. And it was just so smooth. And it wasn't super oily and like clearly oily, which can be a thing with tallow, and it was just so beautiful. I loved it and I could feel it. I could feel the love. And you can almost, now that I know your story, it's like the whole story, your whole connection, all of those lives. Like I just feel like it's all in there. And it's really it's what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh. I just find that it's really impressive that you can uphold that standard of quality even whilst expanding. Because oftentimes,
that's been very important.
Yeah, that's been tough. But sorry, what were you going to say?
I was just going to like as we're growing, like we're making sure that we're keeping to ethical farmers and like family, like run farms, grass-fed and finished, like organic. And we want our own warehouse to keep that standards rather than outsourcing. We want to create the warehouse that we would
so that we're
outsource
always
to,
the ones actually doing it and making sure that everything's perfect in that way. But like you said, I hate to say this because it sounds terrible, but things just like, it doesn't sound terrible, I guess, but things just like fall when we're kind of doing it and it's getting bigger, and we'll get stressed about that kind of thing. Things just happen to fall at the doorstep.
Yeah.
Like a guy that comes to our local farmers market has a farm nearby, and he's just like, I've got all this tallow. Yeah, they're all organic. He's like, and we're already getting like a bunch of tallow from some local farms, but it just kind of like presents itself in that way when we're like looking for it, and we'll like put the intention out there. And sometimes it's like really stressful, and we're like, where are we going to find this thing? Where are we going to find what we need next? But ultimately, I think it actually, I mean, it happens for everyone. It's the way life is. It's when you put the intention out there, it will present itself to you. You just have to be open to it. And if you're not open to it and not aware that it's presenting itself to you, you can very easily miss those scenarios. But I think we try and stay as aware as possible for when there's the opportunity, because majority of the time the opportunity doesn't look how you imagine it's going to look. And so we just kind of, oh, this is the opportunity, but it doesn't look like it at that time. But we just have to like figure out when and where it's coming. And it's like, okay, this seems like an opportunity, and it's something seems aligned here, so we'll just go for it. And then it turns out to be the thing that we need. So, and again, it's not just us. Like that's the way life is. But yeah, it's something that we miss a bunch of opportunities with that kind of thing as well. But it's something we try and really stay open to, is making sure we know that there's that opportunity that's out there presenting itself to us at some point, and we have to be aware that it's there somewhere so we can take it.
It's just so cool, because that's exactly what I was saying before when I said you're both just so embodied in that, because you're making it sound like it's so simple and such a casual everyday thing that just occurs. And it actually is. Like, real miracles happen all the freaking time, but it's a testament to not just each of you individually, but the union that you're both so trusting and surrendering, and like, no, like it's going to be this way and it's always going to show up. And then you just go and you keep creating. You don't, like, the stressful things happen, but you're still moving forward. I'm obsessed.
Sometimes I notice, like, the more rigid we are with like what we like need or desire next, the more we're like, this is the exact thing that we need next, and this is how it's going to be. Then we're holding it away from ourselves. We're putting a hand or a wall up, and we're actually keeping it away from ourselves to let it flow in. And as soon as we're like, oh, well, that's not the way it's going to be, then it like, and we're kind of annoyed by that because we like wanted it to really be that thing. And then it flows in some other way. We're like, oh, awesome. That's exactly the thing that we wanted and needed. And yeah, often better, so it's like, I think it's something that people get stuck in so much, is like holding it away from themselves, but not realizing they're doing it by being so rigid on the thing. It's like, this is the way it has to be, and this is exactly what I want. And there's a lot of like manifestation techniques out there that are a little bit deceiving in the fact that they tell you to like really desire the exact way it's going to be. But sometimes can be a bit like holding it away from yourself, and just let the universe do its thing,
Totally. And like, it is a real fine balance because you do need to have clarity. You need to know exactly what you want, but there's also it can also be very detrimental to just be so tunnel vision, because you're not, it's like, no, it has to be this way. That just shuts it for it to be any other possible way, and
exactly.
I absolutely, you could write a book about just that part of this journey, and that would just be
literally.
Yeah, because it's
huge. It's a huge thing, and you're right. It's a fine line, and it's hard to manage that line. Like, I find myself doing it all the time. I'm like, I want it to be through this person, and this person's gonna, and that's how it's gonna happen, But then meanwhile, somebody else over here has been like, hey, I've been here this whole time, ready to give you the thing that you want. So it's like, sometimes it's hard to get out of that. But I think awareness of the way that works, I think, is the first step of just letting it happen and because it's a flow, right? It's not flowing if you're building a brick wall. It's
totally
flow. That's the energy of the universe flows It doesn't it doesn't come in with a boulder or anything, you know.
No, well, nothing's actually solid and physical, so it's all energy, and you're
Mm,
just, oh,
yeah.
I'm just so obsessed. Have I said that already? I'm not sure. So tell me, because you're sitting inside of an actual shop. Tell me, because this was not, you didn't have this when we met.
No.
So when
So,
we
so,
moved
so,
to
sorry, I
Yamba,
have I'm asking questions and then I'm asking questions without letting you answer because I'm just so excited. So by the time we had met a year ago in Pillar Valley at the festival, how long had you been doing markets for?
a year.
In Australia.
Yeah, in Australia for a year.
Yeah. And then probably two or 3 years in Japan, but that was like all that other story. So it was a different
Yeah,
brand and
different
where
band.
the tallow thing started. But then
Mm.
when we started Myoko Embodied, we've been doing it for about a year at that time.
So you're quite seasoned marketeers, though, right?
Yes.
Now we are. Now we are.
This feels like a really big deal to actually have somewhere solid and, somewhere grounded and this big. Tell me all about it. I want to know everything.
Yeah, well, when we moved to Yamba, we were looking for somewhere to move up here anyway. So when we went to Pillar Valley, we were scouting out where we'd love to be. And then Yamba was just a full body yes for both of us. As soon as we got there, we were just like, yes, this is the place. So we're pretty just yeah, we'll move here kind of thing. And there was this lease that we're in now, the commercial lease for lease when we visited. And we just called up and were like, can we see it? And they're like, yeah, we'll come there right now and show you. We're like, okay, great. And then we loved it. It was amazing. It's got so much character. It's like an old cottage house, but it's on the main street, shop and a retail. So, and it has a commercial kitchen in it that we built and got all the offices and everything. So it's multifaceted as well. But yeah, we made an offer and they were just like, yep, sweet, that's good. And it was just so easy. Every step of the way, it was just so smooth.
Fell into place.
Yeah,
very
fell
much
into
so.
place very easily. So then a month later, we literally hired a truck and moved up here from Canberra. So 10 hours up the road.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Were
And we just
you? Sorry. I'm so
no, you
bad.
go.
Were you actively on the hunt for a commercial place or?
Not really.
Somewhat. We knew that was our next step. We knew we were we couldn't have the business in our home so much anymore. We were oh, this is getting too much. We need to have it somewhere else. We need to do something. And we kind of had really blasé looked at a few things in Canberra, knowing that we didn't want to be there. So we weren't serious about it at all.
Yeah.
Just looking at what was out there and prices and stuff. And then as Kate said, as soon as we stumbled across this place, it was just it fell into place. And yeah, the real estate, we were just maybe we should call. This is literally 2 days after Pillar Valley, after the festival. We were just here and oh, there's a phone number on the front of maybe we should call. We called. They were we'll meet you there right now. That we're okay. We weren't that serious about even this place either. We were oh yeah, we like seeing inside properties. Let's go have a look.
Although I love
We like seeing it.
I knew.
As soon as we got in here, Kate knew. I was not convinced. I was not convinced, but I was a little bit convinced because I was yeah, then we get to move here. That'd be awesome.
Someone's going to act like the stoic tough guy, though.
Yeah.
Someone's going to be oh, you don't want to give too much away.
True. Good cop, bad cop kind of situation.
Yeah.
Totally.
But yeah, we kind of, Kate saw it pretty well. And I wasn't that hard to convince. Literally about a day later, we were both yeah, this is awesome. Yeah. And we're let's just make an offer. And we'll make an offer if they say, we'll make it ridiculous. And then we'll know, that's the spot that's supposed to be. And we made it, and we made it ridiculous. And they immediately just said yes. They were yep, sweet. So we're oh, looks like we're moving to Yamba. Because we were well, we will make it not make it ridiculous, but we'll make it what we can afford, because it wasn't what we could afford at the time.
Yeah.
What they were asking. It
was almost half.
It was basically half of what they wanted, 40% off.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were just yep, sweet. And so we were okay, we're moving to Yamba.
Yeah,
and then a month later, we moved up here. So then we renovated all of this and put all this in. So yes, this is the shop now, the
Looks,
shop part of the area.
how does it feel having this now?
Amazing. Yeah, it feels so good.
Awesome.
It's
You
so
feel
nice
like
to
you have like a
see.
home.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It does feel like a home for the business, basically. Like it feels much more, I don't know, more legitimate, but also more like, yeah, physically legitimate, like its
Mhm.
own thing. And
Mm.
it just feels like we can look at it and grow it, as opposed to it being us and something that we do when when we have the energy for or not. Like when a business is a lot smaller, sometimes it can feel like that. Like,
Mm.
um, you don't have the energy for it, so it doesn't go anywhere. But
Mhm.
if it's kind of there and physical and separate from you, it's
Mhm.
happening no matter what. Like it doesn't matter how, if you don't have the energy for it. A staff will be there or something. So it's going a lot. There's other people focusing their energy on it, so
Mm.
it can grow whether you're in bed sick or not. So which is
Mhm.
cool to think about and see.
I love that so much. It's like a child.
Yeah, it's like a child,
It's like a
exactly.
child. Like they're going to be growing in their sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's so cool. So, oh my gosh, I have 5 million questions. Um, I just love you both so much. You're just absolutely delicious. Um, I want I want to know about tallow. Tell me stuff about tallow, the history of tallow, and like, tell me all the things.
Yeah. So tallow can be traced back to like every ancient culture. So even Aboriginals in Australia, like ancient Egypt, ancient Rome, it was always being used on the skin specifically as either a skin remedy or to protect from the sun. So it was used as a
Mm.
sunscreen for like, hunters going out, in the middle of the day or whatever. Like it was always used for prevention or healing the skin, like ailments, wounds, even.
Yeah, it was used as a wound healer, which is basically like a testament to its like regenerating of the skin. So it just helps your skin regenerate. It's got all the minerals, all the nutrients that you need to regenerate your skin. So
Mm.
if you've got a wound and you were in ancient Rome or ancient Greece and you got a big wound, tallow will actually help A, seal the wound, and B, regenerate everything and help your skin just go for it and support it while it heals itself, basically. So amazing stuff. That's why it's good for regenerating your skin in general.
Yeah. And it's very similar to our skin's natural oil sebum. So it's biologically very similar. That's, again, why our skin can use it so effectively because it's just very compatible.
Mm.
And tallow is used for preserved meat. So it's a natural preservative as well. So it's not going to go off, really. Like it can sit on the shelves for like, I think it's been tested for like over 7 years.
In its purest form. Obviously we purify it several times over.
Yeah.
We in here. So this is the shop. Then behind is our kind of production space
Yeah.
and office and everything.
Mhm.
So we make it all here. So we purify it several times, and once we've purified it, we've basically removed all the impurities, which can be stored in fat. So even as we know, like toxins, all these kind of things, poisons can be stored in fat. But obviously we source from organic farms, and for that reason, because we're using fat, right? So
Mm.
we have to get the best possible quality. Otherwise, things like poisons and toxins and all these kind of things, that's exactly where they're stored. So it's
Mm.
not really good to be getting, cows that are vaccinated and pumped full of poisons and hormones, et cetera, because a lot of that stuff just gets stored exactly in what we're using. So we get obviously the purest form to avoid all of that, and then we purify it several times over.
Mm.
And then in its purest form, it's shelf stable and completely, basically, it's a preservative, as you mentioned. So yeah,
I love
And I
it.
love
Sorry, you
Oh,
go.
sorry. I was gonna say, I love what you said before about how like it's the energy of a living creature that is being transferred as well. And I think a big thing for us becoming not vegan anymore was realizing that death is a crucial part of life and it is
100%.
the beginning as well. And it's like you cannot have life without death. Everything in the world is going to die, and that's just a natural cycle.
Yeah.
But the energy is actually what transfers and
Mm.
returns you, and that's what's healing you as well. So it's like people often say, oh, it's something dead, but it's like exactly what you said. Something made in a factory with no life is what's dead.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this is beautiful, and it's harmonious.
And death is actually beautiful as well. There's I I think the vegan movement was hugely influenced by people's fear of death and
Mm,
fear. They're projecting that fear of death onto animals and things that don't necessarily fear death. But humans have been taught to fear death because we don't know what it is.
mm,
Um, but I think we're becoming a lot more aware of what it is very rapidly in the last few years and onwards, into this energy that we're moving into now, which is, the age of Aquarius, or the coming energy, and whatever we are in now. People are dramatically realizing it's not going to be, we're not going to be able to be played like that anymore. Like, death is a
mm.
normal thing, it's a natural thing, and it's can be quite beautiful. And it's
Yeah.
And it's not really death
it's
as
not really
well.
death, it's
Like
transition
we all know.
day. Right? Yeah.
Transition day. I love.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. And so oh my gosh. What this keeps happening to me. Oh my God. What was I gonna say? Yes, the far out. I've just gone completely blank.
Oh, you cut out for a second there.
Oh
Sorry.
no. Am I here?
Yeah, it's just kind of jumping around a little bit, but I think it's better now.
The
Yeah,
rain has
that's all
picked
good.
up here, so I'm hoping.
Yeah, no, I think it's better now. It just
Is
jumped
it okay
around and
now?
cut you out for a little bit there.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yes,
Yeah, cool.
I can hear you. I can hear
Yeah,
you.
I was just going to say something as well, just about about death, and on that same note of
Mm,
death being beautiful, I guess. Like, my dad recently passed away, and very recently, like 3-4 weeks ago, we had the yeah. So, I mean, like, my natural reaction is to be like, oh yeah, terrible stuff, but like ultimately not. Like, I think it's in the last month since, or month and a half, since he passed away. It's like I've really been thinking a lot about, like, previously when people I knew had passed away, it was so sad, and it was the end, and it was just like this cutoff point. It's like,
yeah.
where are they? They're gone forever. But I kind of think about my dad now, and it's just like I think about him, his essence, and his person, and his face, and his personality, and all these things, and it doesn't feel like it's gone at all. And
Yes.
it feels like it's just like he's just there, but it's just not tangibly there anymore. I don't feel like his physical body is there. I'm just like, no, he's just like literally over the sheet. There's just like, it's just through there. It really feels like that to me. And I know that it might sound like very cliche and like silly to people who are like, just think that I'm talking shit, but it's so, like, I had my best friend pass away when I was 16 years old.
Mm,
And at that time, I was horrifically distraught, and it felt a lot more like he was gone.
yeah.
And even though I still had dreams about him and all these kind of things, and I know that he was coming to me in dreams and all these kind of things, maybe I wasn't as in touch at that time with my spirit or my soul, or
I mean, you're
or
freaking
knowing.
16. What
Yeah,
16-year-old is in touch
so
with their
so I
soul
kind
and
of like had
spirit?
this thing where it's like,
Mm,
yeah, exactly. And so I didn't have this knowledge, or like, I don't know what to call it, but I didn't have this thing where I could tangibly relate to the fact that he is still there.
mm,
So it felt a lot like more of a deeper hole. Whereas, like, with dad, it feels like he's just there. Like, there's so many, it's just there,
yeah.
but you just can't touch them anymore and see them. But you can still see them. Like, you still see them, and like, literally in your mind's eye, we have a third eye for a reason, to be able to see things that we can't see in the physical reality. And so I think, like, if I literally just close my eyes and think about his face, I can see him. And so
Yeah.
it's so much more, he's so much more real and so much more there than I think we give death the credit for. It's like, it's actually, there's still so much going on.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. He can be wherever I want to see him. Whereas before, you had to go to his house or come to
Yeah.
me, yeah, hard to like put that into words tangibly. I don't know if that came across well, but I've been thinking about that a lot over the last month.
Yeah,
And it's
it's
like literally the first time I've said it. So
well, thank you so much for sharing that, because it's a really important thing to be speaking about, especially in a time when we are actually experiencing a lot of death. You know,
yes,
there's actually a lot of death occurring in the world in so many different ways, but one of those ways is people dying. I know, I just, everywhere I look, there's someone who's just got diagnosed with something and then they're going down this, and it's all heavy and intense and all this kind of stuff. But, one thing that I've experienced a lot of death in my life, and I know exactly what you mean when it's so definitive, and you
Yeah.
live in a world of definitiveness where there was a physical human and now they're physically not there and it's dead and it's black and it's gone, you know. But now it's like when someone actually dies or transitions, their energy is more alive, more expansive. They're like ever present everywhere. You know what I mean? Because they're actually not restricted by this physical thing. It's almost like when they were alive and in the physical, you actually felt the presence of them less than what you do than when they're not in a
Yeah.
physical.
Yeah, because they're concentrating their energy on other things that are physical. They're in their reality. Their energy is like concentrated to this one little physical thing that's like
Yeah.
he's playing guitar at this time and therefore is concentrating just on that. But
Yeah.
when they release their energy from their body, it can be way, way, way more expansive and
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And then, when you look at that and you realize that, every single one of us, every single living creature, consent-based universe, right? They came in as a soul and a consciousness and chose an existence. And the souls that choose the existence of being an animal, being a cow, knowing that they're going to just roam around on pastures, eating grass, and then the ultimate end is when they become, slaughtered, whatever. And then that is when it's just so incredible. Like they live an entire life, but it's when they die that the gift of their existence starts to give.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Knowing that their consciousness and their energy is actually just going to be transferred somewhere else. You know what I mean? And I think it's so beautiful when especially if you're working with really ethical farmers and, all of the organic, and then I'm assuming your products are Bovaer free.
What? Sorry?
Bovaer free.
What was that?
Bovaer?
Bovaer.
You know
What's
that?
Bovaer?
But is it Bovaer? Am I saying it right? It's a vaccine, or it's something that they're giving cows now to reduce their CO2 emission.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, yeah, that's so ridiculous.
Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
100%. They don't get any vaccine.
Like nothing. Yeah, it's wild to think that they even do that.
It's quite unbelievable. That whole thing was like based on, what was it, Cowspiracy, when they were tried to convince the world that cow farts were the thing that were causing global warming, which is so ridiculous. so ridiculous. But it trapped a lot of people, convinced a lot of people that was true.
Yeah, now, it's like all the beef that's in the supermarkets is like CO2.
Beef that is in the supermarket is horrendous.
Yeah, it's
so
disgusting.
Horrendous. The stuff that's there, like, anybody watching this, if you're still eating it, stop right now. Go to the butcher.
Go to the butcher. Pay that little bit extra.
Legitimate. Find a local farm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth your health and it's worth your life. And it's like, there's some horrific stuff going on that ends up in supermarket shelves, especially in the meat section of the shelves. So,
and the consciousness of that meat as well.
As far away from it as you can.
The consciousness of that meat and the energy of it, like with those cows that have just been like factory and just pumped full of hormones and who knows what else. Like,
yeah, 100%. And if you think about that, like homeopathy, which like takes the essence of something and it's diluted and that's the essence. The essence is the thing that is powerful. Subtle energy is the thing that is powerful. think about exactly what you just described and then apply that to the situation. The subtle energy of absolutely horrendous living circumstances and depression and death in a cow that then ends up on the shelves. That, not to mention all those vaccines and all the other things that we haven't mentioned, and it's just like this. It's horrendous.
It's absolutely, yeah, it is. And as you're saying that, I'm thinking about, you know, veganism again, bringing the absolute contrast, but what they have to do to the crops and the soil and all the creatures that live on that soil to like produce quinoa, chia seeds. You know what I mean? Like it just
Yeah.
absolutely destroys all living and the fertile that they not fertile. What's the word I'm looking for? Fertilizer.
A fertilizer, yeah.
The opposite to fertile. Yeah. Just it's pretty wild to think about, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Do you think that this is a huge component why people are actually experiencing so much healing from your products, from using your products? It's like, yes, the tallow itself is really powerful, but do you think a huge component is actually the energetic intention behind it that really?
Yeah, I think we definitely think so.
Hugely,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I just think it's not, we're in the beginning stages of, you know, it being a like in the mainstream that everybody knows about energy and frequency, and we're just at the beginning of that, bringing that into physical products. But I think we're going to see more and more of it going into this age of Aquarius, and more people are going to start doing it, and everyone is going to start realizing as well that it is the subtle energy, the essence of things that is more powerful than the physical. So it's so exciting for us to just bring it in, and it was such a major player for us with bringing in a physical product. Like, it was really important to, look into the metaphysical of it all too. But yeah, we hear all the time that people just love our tallow over somebody else's tallow, and they're not sure why, or like they'll say, "Oh,
Yeah.
it makes me feel like, well, that's the intention that was in it," and they don't even know, and like, yeah,
A lot of times, like, we don't often sell our product with people knowing about what we do, as in terms of like infusing the intention into like really kind of involving that in the process of making it. We don't really tell a lot of people that unless we know that they're kind of on board with that already, and then we'll kind of be like, oh well, we kind of do this as well. And we also don't really tell a lot of people. We tell a few people, but we don't tell a lot of people about the affirmations on each of the jars and everything. Like, we'll leave it for them to discover. But a lot of people, like, it's interesting. Like, we'll be selling it in a certain way, or people want to try tallow, and so they'll try tallow. But yeah, as Kate mentioned, they'll come back and they're just like, "Wow, it was this, and this," and it's like, that's exactly what it was like. That was the intention behind it, and that's what the whole. And they weren't really told that in the beginning, but they kind of bring it back with that exact scenario. And well, they've tried 4 different tallows and they've tried ours, and they're like, this is so much better because of this reason. And I think it's interesting to see how people come back there without even us telling them that knowledge, or them having that knowledge really, and coming back to us with confirmation that for us, it's like more confirmation for us. Okay, keep doing it that way. Keep doing what you're doing. Like, there is a huge power in putting and setting intention over something, especially something that is liquid, like like something that's. I'm sure you know of Veda Austin, right? She does like the water, lots of like water studies with like
Yes.
consciousness of water, basically, and how it setting intention over water, or liquid in general, which is mostly water, some percentage of water, can completely change the structure of the thing itself. And so this is kind of a lot of what started us to do that, is setting that intention over our products. Like, in its liquid form, when it's being made, it's consciousness. There's water in there. The water is consciousness. The consciousness of water is all. Yeah, and so it can reflect the energy that you put into it, and that's like the most powerful thing, humans are realizing right now. And as Kate
Yeah.
mentioned, it's like in this time, that this time of new knowledge in the age of Aquarius that we're come into, and perhaps people didn't know it before, but it's like dramatically coming in now, and it's like, yeah, and it's like when those people come back with that feedback to us, it's like more confirmation that it's like that's the way to go. This is what the
Yeah.
future needs, and the current needs is really putting that intention and love and proper intention into something.
Do you know what's so cool as well? If I can just bring up numbers for a little brief second,
Please, please, yes.
is that, Kate, you're born on the 29th, and this 2 and 9, and so the 9, Tesla, right? Tesla was obsessed with the 3, 6, and 9, right? So he said that when you understand the truth behind the 3, 6, and 9, you unlock understanding the truth of the universe. Well, the 9 component of that is the 9. Literally, all numerology is that these are symbols that help us humans that live in a world of duality and separation. They help us to physically navigate the energetic world that we live in. So the 9 represents energy itself, actual energy itself. And you just happen to have 4 of them in your birth date. I've just lost my mind over that. You know what I mean? So your capacity in being a 404 life path with all of these 9s, it's like the 4s are really an energy of mastery. Like they would rather something take longer if it means I can really perfect the art and the quality of it over that time. And so when you have that 404 with all this 9 energy, particularly the 29, which is such a high level spiritual, angelic, healing, psychic, medium type energy, it's like the perfect alchemy. You know what I mean? And so what you do is literally take energy through all of those 9s, and that 2 energy is heart space, it's love. So it's like the transmutation process of taking what's not love, turning it into love. But the energy that you put, it's like you literally take energy and transmute it into physical products. And then that energy is literally being transferred to the people that are receiving healing. It's like you have found a way to cause healing for people at like do you know what I mean? It's like you don't have to be sitting there on a Zoom doing a healing session with someone. It's like, no. You've literally bottled healing. And every time they apply it, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just as active as if you were in a Zoom doing a healing session with someone, you know?
Yeah.
I'm losing my mind over
I
this.
love that.
Isn't that wild? You should just chop this
Love
last
it.
bit up and
Love
then
it.
use that as all of your promo.
Yeah.
Energy
Love that.
embodied.
Yeah. Healing in a bottle.
Literally, but that's literally what it is. You know what I mean? And like everything that you're doing and the way that you're doing it, no one taught you how to do this. It was just you fully surrendered to your own process and how so this is every step of the way is with intention. I'm obsessed. I'm absolutely obsessed.
Yeah. So true.
I just feel like a huge congratulations because what you've been able to accomplish in life, and not just in life in general, but in business, but then also as in a relationship, and your contribution back to humanity through it's just epic. It's absolutely freaking epic. And I'm so excited for you. And I just want it to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And your products are absolutely beautiful. Do you sell them online?
Yeah, we do. Online,
Yeah.
ship all over Australia.
Ship all over Australia and internationally as well.
Oh, wow.
So whoever's light wherever you are.
So can you tell me about like the products themselves? So I know you said like you've got the different elements, but like so what do people is there one that's most popular? Is there something that people come to you wanting to like how do I heal this or yeah, tell me all about it.
Yeah, so we've got a good range. So our most popular is the Mountain. So it's the collagen cream. So it's got bone marrow in there too, which bone marrow is, you could argue, is even more healing than tallow. It's got stem cells and everything in there that just rapidly heal skin. So that's definitely like our most popular. People just gravitate towards that one.
So wait.
Just,
Yeah.
You
It's
have
like a collagen cream. So that's this one here.
yes, collagen, but you could have used like powdered collagen or liquid collagen, but you were like, no, no,
We could
no.
have.
I'm gonna use actual bone marrow
Yeah.
from the
Way to
actual.
go. It's the way to go.
Wow. So people, if you're not starting to see why these products are different and like insanely potent and powerful, then there's like your brain's not in your head. So that's
Yeah.
epic. That's so cool that you just there's really no corners that have been cut here, is there?
No.
and that's the most time like laborious
Yeah.
part, the bone marrow. So and we
Yeah.
just keep the same price as everything. It's
Yeah,
just,
same price as all the other ones,
Yeah.
but that one is probably our most popular at the moment.
And it takes
and
the
it
longest and it's
takes
how
the
long
longest.
tell me
Is
how
the
long
most
does it
cost effective
take?
to make as well.
What is the process from the beginning
render
to the
tallow to be used to then put into the yeah, so we get the suet, which is the beef fat, and it's all like minced, and it's yeah, it's just it looks like minced meat, but it's white.
it's all
So that's
white.
how we the farmers, and then we have to render that down 5 times. So that takes like a week of work, and like each time you render it, it's hours of
All day. It's basically all day for 5 to 6 days of the week.
yeah,
For that.
Just
and we can do a
constantly
lot more than we get. So we get a lot once we've done it. But yeah, then once we've got the tallow, then we're mixing it in with all the other like nourishing oils, and we do botanicals as well. And yeah,
But the bone marrow specifically is like a little bit longer than rendering and purify. To purify the bone marrow takes longer than purifying the tallow.
yeah,
So
you have to get it out of the bones and
so
yeah.
we are using tallow and bone marrow in that one. So it's a long process.
really long. Like because I make my own tallow at home for like cooking and I whip some I whip some tallow for my son for his skin and
Nice.
I am nowhere near at your level. I do not. I do it once, and I'm like, that's enough. I'm not. I've done it before, where I've done it maybe twice, and I'm not doing that again. Like the process is relatively simple, and I will say that I do just use a bloody slow cooker, but it is on low, and it's like 48 hours. It's at least that long. It does take a long process. But so how much
That's how we started. That's exactly how we started. Is using a slow cooker and then 2 slow cookers and then 3 slow cookers. Now we've got a commercial kitchen. So it just evolved from exactly what
slow cooker.
The slow cookers were just the ones you buy at Kmart.
Now.
Oh, now we don't use a slow cooker. We use a big 60-litre pot.
That has a tap on the end.
And no aluminium. We don't use anything aluminium. So no terrible quality stuff and nothing that's going to leach. But yeah, it's a big 60-litre pot that we use now. And we've also got a bunch of other kind of big 60-litre things. So, and we've got a bunch of other pots that we can do things at the same time. So it's kind of like, it got to the point where like, now it takes the same amount of time to make, I mean, we can make, I don't know, 300 products, for example, in the same amount of time that 6 months ago we could make 50 products because we have to render it's the same process.
Same process.
We can just do it in a larger amount. So we still are not cutting corners by cutting that process back. It's just that we can do more now, which at the one time. So, So still the same process, still very lengthy, but we just get more out of it now because we can do more at the same time, which is great. So that saves us, having to do it all the time. Where at some point we were still using slow cookers and we were, getting quite busy, and we were just constant. It was constant. That we were just constantly rendering tallow, and
our house smelled of beef fat.
yeah, so the house constantly smelled of beef fat. It was
the cleanup
it was
as well on this is
yeah, cleanup is massive, obviously, after each. And it was very stressful at that time, where that's why we upscaled and had to get a commercial kind of kitchen that, we could clean easier and we could get it back to square one and do it in bigger format because,
yeah,
in small batches, it's harder to do because it's.
And when it's like
still the same process.
It takes over your house as well, like where you live, and then it's like just everywhere.
Yeah, that's like, doing a business from home. As you know, you do a business from home as well. Like when you have a business at home, it takes over your home, and one thing has to go, and usually you favor the business over your personal things. So it's like the business starts to take over your personal things, and so that's why we then moved into here, the business into here. So makes it much better.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I'm so excited for you both. So you're in Yamba, but people can go online, and are you on Instagram? Are you?
Yeah, they can order online. On Instagram, Myoko Embodied. MYOKOEMBODIED is the brand and how you spell it. But you can order online. We ship everywhere. We always do ship it the next day after the order. And we can give you a discount code, like to put at the bottom for anyone if they want to. After this is over, they can find it on here and get a discount. We'll give it to you afterwards, and you can put it at the bottom.
Yes.
But anyone can order online. We love like-minded people, so we're happy to do a little discount for everyone and anyone that finds it through this podcast. Should be awesome.
That's awesome. That is awesome. That's so cool. People love discounts. So I just want to kind of wrap up by saying that so your product that you make is not only every step of it is all Australian, fully organic. Like, how cool is this?
Yeah.
Every ingredient we use is Australian, from either New South Wales. All our tallows from New South Wales farms, and then some other ingredients we get from Queensland farms, which are like our herbs that we use from an organic cottage in Queensland. So everything's from around this area. We're in northern New South Wales, basically near the border of Queensland. So everything's pretty local to this area. Everything is organic, and every process that we do is by us. So it's all perfectly controlled, and we want to make sure it stays that way forever, basically. No matter how big it gets, we're always going to do it ourselves. Like, it's going to be under our control, that we know that we're not outsourcing it. So we know that it's not turning to shit, basically, which is what happens with unfortunately, a lot of products. And sometimes people mean the best intentions, and sometimes it just gets astray when they start outsourcing things. So
totally
don't outsource.
Not the important bits.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The back end bits.
Yeah, the manufacturing is what.
The manufacturing part and putting labels on bottles, and
Yeah.
You can have.
We can outsource Instagram.
100%, 100%. That's awesome. Well, is there anything that you wanted to share as some final words?
Anything you want?
Try beef fat.
Try tallow. Yeah, tallow's awesome.
Have glowing skin.
Yeah. But we're really looking forward to seeing you again at the festival as well. It's coming up soon. So
it is coming up super soon. Is it in the same place?
Yeah, it is in August. Same place, same location.
The exact same. Oh, that's really cool. That's awesome. Well, let's hope. I want to be next to you because you're the cool guys.
Yeah, hopefully we're neighbors again. That would be awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for joining me on this podcast and talking to me all about beef fat, the history of beef fat, the deliciousness of it. Like, just thank you both so much for sharing yourselves and being really, sharing your stories and sharing, some of the hard stuff as well with what you've recently gone through. But I love how embodied you both are and how inspiring you both are. And people will get so much value in just hearing your stories as well. So thank you so, so, so much. It's been so epic to have you both.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Georgina.
much
It's
for
been
having
awesome.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. Thank you so much. That was an awesome chat.
Woohoo!